So I had some questions about how I did an integration with Boost.Space and WordPress. So although I've already done the integration itself, I'm going to try and walk you through how I set this up and what I did. So this is the already completed integration here. It's on the Notes app. So I'm just going to close this and I'm going to go into the integrator. Now it's important to note that I did this as a one-time run to import over 3,000 different articles that I have written. So you can see here my usage was about 100 megabytes. I did this twice. So how did I do this? So what I did was I set up a scenario. The scenario integrates from my WordPress. Now you could also do this for something like SQL. In this case, the SQL module here, I'll just go over here. So this is my WordPress dashboard, and I installed the Make plugin, and then under Make, there's an API key that you plug in to Boost.Space, and it connects the integration WordPress module to your data store. So what a data store is a data store is like a database, but you're just storing records. You're not like pulling them relationally. So you're not pulling like you would with SQL, where you'd pull different things like a query, author equals 2 or 3. This is just storage for your database. So what I did was I connected the Make API to my WordPress site. So that's this connection here. Then I gave it a type. Its type is posts. And then what I did was what kind of post do I want to pull? I want to pull posts that have been already published. I want to order them by their ID. And when I imported, I set to 3,000. Now, you can set this up for whatever you want to do. You could say, posts where you mention certain companies or certain author names or something like that. You could set up your own criteria here. So once you make your connection to WordPress, or if you're doing like an SQL database, this is where you would set up your query basically, and how many you'd want to pull. So once you do all of that mapping, so that maps out your on one end, okay? And so this is my data store, and I've already run this, but so what happens here is, so all of the stuff that I mapped on this side for WordPress appears here. So when you create a data store, you can, like with SQL, create a unique key. So in SQL, you usually have what's called a primary key or a unique key. You can set a field for that will always like auto increment 1, 2, 3, 4, or if you have client IDs and things like that. So remember how I mentioned that in WordPress over here, we were mapping things, and there's also the AI map option. So we're mapping fields here, like ID, modified, title, author. All of those variables are available here. So when you create a data store, you also create its layout, like its number of fields. You can see here I actually have 2 that I didn't use. So I just click in here, and this exposes to me all of the different options that the WordPress plugin will give me. And if you do another database type like SQL, presumably you'll also get options, or you should write down by hand and know what the field names are. So you want them to match. So ID to ID, author to author, and content, in my case, is the post content. So the actual like HTML for my blog posts. But you can see here there's a number of different things you can do. You can get the excerpt, you can get the tags, and these are all WordPress kind of specifics. If it's password protected, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. I just did a very basic data store. So once you've made your data store and you've connected your either it's SQL, WordPress, Postgres, whatever you're using, and you've imported in here. So what you're going to do is once these are connected and all your fields are sorted out, you're going to press run once. And it took about 15 minutes for me, and there's a little counter that appears up here, and it will count until it finishes, and you'll get a log down here when it finishes. So I'm not going to run it because I've already run it. So let's just browse inside my data store here. So my website is called Broken Joysticks, and this is literally 3,125 blog posts that I have written on my website. And you can see here that it pulled everything. So, here's one that I wrote last December. There's the ID. There's the unique key that we talked about earlier. The ID, the author one, which is my account, the title, and then the raw HTML. And if I go all the way back, I can go all the way back and go, this would have been Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS4. So this would have been 2015. So about 9.5 years of blog posts that I pulled. So hopefully that helps you set up your integrations. This isn't an official video or anything, but if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I want to thank the folks that asked how to do this. I'm more than happy to answer any questions and make future videos.